Good afternoon, my fellow aquarium scientists. Hope everybody is doing well this fine Sunday afternoon. We'll just give a few moments to allow people to trickle in, and we'll get started soon. Oop, did I forget something? Hang on a second. I just saw something that I thought I fixed, but apparently not. Stand by for a second. I wonder if it will let me fix it because we're live currently. Yeah, it's fine. Then why am I seeing the live reactions thingy? Oh, I don't see it anymore. Never mind. Okay, I don't know what that was all about. Okay, let's see. Let's see who we got here. My dear friend Scotty finally is joining us on our live stream. Thank you very much for stopping by. Hope you're doing well, buddy. The Zen Ginger, welcome. And that's about it. Cool. So while we wait for more people to come, excuse me. So what I thought we would talk about today, I wanted to talk about hardscape, um, mainly because I'm getting ready to collect hardscape for the beta tank that I have, and thought we'd talk about buying hardscape online versus buying it in person. Um, my thoughts on the matter, and then things like that, and then would love to hear from you guys what you guys think about it, and kind of talk about some of the stuff that I've gotten so far. It's sitting right behind me, and then some just updates on stuff going on in the aquarium lab, um and then if anybody has any questions regarding husbandry or whatever, we can talk about that stuff. Whoop, sorry, did not mean to um get that. Um, yeah, Scotty, I saw the live reactions thingy. I exited out and I went back in and it went away. Um, so I went away. But yeah. Hello there, Robert. Thank you very much for stopping by. My friend Koro, welcome very much. Welcome. Okay, cool. So let's first, yeah. So I mentioned before, um, how I have the fluval beta tank that's upstairs in my dining room, and there's actually a video that I posted about. I did like an unboxing of it, and I was supposed to do a video of setting it up and everything. And back then I wasn't really that much active with my YouTube channel, and I didn't really do much after that. Um, and I had it set up and it was doing fine for a while, but then I started getting some blackbeard algae issues, and it's just not looking as beautiful as I want it to be. And so my goal is to do a complete rescape, take all the plants out, take that piece of wood out, the rock and well, it's not rock, it's actually pebbles in there. Um, and I want to do it all over again. I'm gonna take everything out, the soil, everything, clean it all out, Probably not going to rinse out the filtration media because it has all that beneficial bacteria. So I'm gonna hopefully save that, um, and just start all over. And one thing that I wanted to do was, so the wood that I have in there right now is a eucalyptus trunk wood, something along the lines of that. I don't even remember. But it's not. It's a wood that's not really normally found. Um, and so I was thinking of what should I do differently? What because I want to change it up a bit. And I've never worked with spiderwood, so I went to my local aquarium store because I needed to get the GH and KH test kit because the one I had, the liquid has expired, unfortunately. So I needed to get this because I want to do some testing on the water to test like my hardness and everything like that. Because in the plant holding tank, um, after I did my water change, the Alternantha renickii pink just started melting, and I want to do some water testing to figure out what's going on. Like the Alternantha rosenervig is perfectly fine, and everything else is perfectly fine. It's just the pink just started melting, and I'm trying to save it. At some point after I'm done this live stream, I'm actually going to go in and trim off some of the good stuff and repot it basically, because Steven did buy a pot of it, so I want to make sure that it's good enough for me to send out to him. That's actually one of the reasons why I took it off the website, because I just don't know what's going on. So I want to go in and do some water quality on it. But anyway, so I went there and then I started looking at their wood selection, and they've got quite a bit of wood, spider wood in particular. And the problem is, and this is where I want to start our conversation. So I was looking online a lot to see if I can find like spider wood that's meant for like nanoscapes, like small pieces of wood. And in most cases, like including like my own website, right, I have a lot of wood variety that's on the website. And but the thing is, normally when you see their measurements, like they'll usually give you like a rough estimate of size of the range of sizes for like small, medium, large. Sometimes you'll get extra large, things like that, and they're not always 100% accurate. And not only that, because you don't you because it's online, you can't see the actual piece. You can't really grab it and look at the size. You don't know what you're really going to get. And that's always been kind of annoying for me, is the fact that I don't know what I'm getting, especially for like smaller tanks. If you have like a large tank, I guess it doesn't really matter. Um, but for somebody like me who is scaping a nano tank, really, the beta fluval beta is a nano tank. Um, it just works better for me to go to my local store and see what they have. And thankfully they had a fluval spec on display, like dry. It was just the tank, there was nothing in it. And a good friend of mine, she works there, and she said I could, you could play around with it if I need to put the wood into that display tank to kind of get an idea of the size and everything like that. The problem is their tank displays, they have stuff in it, like they have like that confetti packaging stuff just to make it look a little pretty. So there wasn't really enough room for me to kind of put these pieces of wood in to kind of see if it will work or not. And so my goal is to at some point, once I have all the hardscape that I need, is then drain the tank I have upstairs, get it nice and clean and dry, and then hopefully plop the wood in. If my gut tells me this is gonna work better than like this one here, but I'm gonna try both. I'm gonna keep the tags on because I'm able to return it, but it has to have the tags on and it has to be dry. So um, it's gonna be a little difficult because I want to drain the tank and everything, and test these guys out, and then whatever wood I end up going with, I then am going to be soaking it or boiling it, to make sure that it's waterlogged and it leaches as much tannins as it can. Spiderwood is known to leach tannins a lot. and it is buoyant. So I want to make sure that I get it waterlogged and I leach as much tannins as I need possibly. And the problem is with my local fish store, at least once the wood is wet, it cannot be returned. So I had to do a dry test first to see which one works better. Um, and then the one that and then I'll go stick with that, and then the other one I'll just return. I need to check if there's a deadline to like how long until I can return. I do have the receipt with me. Another thing I wanted to point it out actually was like, so these two pieces are from Zoomed, and they're both spiderwood. They're both pretty much the same size, so they would be classified as small piece. Yet the prices are different. So like this is $7.99, and then this one was $17.99. So I guess they go by branches, or I don't know how the pricing system is for like Zoomed, but I just thought it was interesting how they're pretty much similar in size category, but like totally different price points. And they're from the same brand. It's from Zoomit. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. So in terms of hardscape for wood, my goal is to use spiderwood, and I want to cover it with, I want to use epiphytes. So the light on the fluval beta isn't really that strong. Um, and so it's basically just great for epiphytes, really. Your Anubias, Bucephalandra, things like that. And so I'm going to be attaching some to the spiderwood or in between, like the rocks that I'm going to use. In terms of rocks, I'm thinking of Sirius stone because I have small. Hang on, let me grab it. So like I have these small little whoop, pieces of Sirius stone. Um, which I can't remember who I got these from. But it was when I was at a different aquarium event. I can't remember. Um, but they had like these small pieces, and I was like, "Can I have some?" And they gave it to me for free because I was also buying something else from there. Um, and yeah, so actually, what's funny is I actually had these set aside for something else, but I'm gonna end up using this. So I'm gonna probably go back to my local aquarium store and see if they have like small pieces of Sirius stone, um, and just work on that. One of the things that I do hate about my local fish store is that they don't have an aquascaping or a hardscape dojo, I believe is what it's called, which is basically like this little tank that has sand, and it's usually a large size, but then they also have like templates for like smaller sizes, and then you can kind of do like a dry setup of your hardscape, so that way you know what you need, what you want, and then you basically just end up buying that. My local fish store does not have that, and I hate that it doesn't have that because it would be cool to have that. um Sorry, let me go back on chat, see, because I noticed more people have been coming in. Um, Thank you, Zen, for sharing that video. Appreciate it. Hey there, Sam. Welcome. Hi there, Richard Reynolds. Thank you very much for stopping by. Got Fish Fam Link here. Welcome. Silver Creek Wildlife. Welcome. Thank you very much for stopping by. Ooh, that's as Coro says, I've seen some nice stuff where people trim spiderwood and put the trimmed edges around rocks like roots. Yeah, that's becoming really popular where they're actually you can even get twigs, like actual twigs. Um I can't remember specifically like what type of like wood it's from or things like that, but you can get twigs that people use to kind of put in through their woods to kind of make it look like, or not wood, rock, to make it look like roots coming from like a tree stump or something like that. A lot of people use that for like if they're doing like a river or stream style aquascape. I've definitely seen a few scapes like that. Never heard of people doing like trimming off spider wood. and using that. That's interesting. Um, hey, it's Matt. How you doing, bud? Hey, Matt, were you able to figure out what was going on with the calendar situation? Um, so Zen says, I like Sirius Stone and Dragon Stone. Basically, the sharp ones that you have to be careful escaping with. Yeah, yeah. I because I don't know if you guys can't really see, but the rock that I have in here, I believe, is also Sirius Stone. Like that's the only stone I've really worked with. Um, which makes me think that maybe I should use a different rock for the beta escape. Um, but then again, I'm planning on moving these guys to a 10 gallon and scaping that. If you guys missed my previous live stream when we were on the Tropica app, I'm gonna be using one of the aquascaping recipes on that app to create a scape for these guys, and I might use a different stone for that. So maybe I'll just stick with Sirius Stone for the beta scape and then do something different with that. Um, bu- 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 but yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Scotty says, "How is the saltwater tank for the Clash coming along?" It is coming along. I have started ordering stuff. Uh, the problem is with the tank. So the 50% off sale that Petco has for the 10 gallon tanks has ended. So I have to wait until it comes back to get the tank. But everything else I have started ordering in. Um, the API test kit and the Oase filter. I'm placing an order in. The issue is I got a new credit card, so I have to change like my account and all that. So I'm waiting for them to call me to get that changed, and then I will be able to place that order in. But it's in the cart right now. The same thing with the light. The light is actually the thing with the light is I'm still trying to hear back from SR Aquaristic because I want to make sure that that light is able to fit the rim 10 gallon tank. They said yes, but the person that I was talking to said that I'm gonna double check and then get back to you, and that person never did. So I'm gonna just shoot an email real quick to see, to hopefully hear back from them. But that light will also be coming in soon. Um, and then the only thing left for me to really go in and order is the sand, and then like the rock, which I'll just be going to my local fish store to get. Um, but yeah, it is coming along. It's gonna take a little bit of time. Once I get everything settled and here, then I'm gonna start doing my recording and all that stuff. Um, I do have a question for you guys. Maybe you guys might know. So I want to where I'm putting the tank. It's on a rack. I want to be able to. I want to put something underneath the tank, like a leveling mat or something like that. I know people use yoga mats, like they'll cut it to shape and things like that. But I was wondering if like there's a place to actually get already mats for 10 gallon tanks that I can buy to put underneath it, just so that it's just for my sense of security. Um, because I think it should still be okay, but like I still want to put something underneath it, just so it has a little bit of a cushion. Um, so I wanted to hear from you guys if you guys had any ideas. Worst case scenario, I'll just try and find like a thin yoga mat and just cut it to size. Um, but yeah. But yeah, Scotty, it is coming along. Because I have a lot of time, so I'm kind of taking my time with it. Um, also I'm planning on getting most of the macroalgae from Algae Barn, and Algae Barn doesn't really have a lot in stock right now, so I'm also trying to wait to see if they're going to get some stuff in, because there's another place where I can get like really cool looking algae, especially stuff that is beginner friendly. The problem is that algae isn't really as clean, So there are chances of hitchhikers coming and things like that, and I'm very, very cautious of hitchhikers. So, I'm trying to be very careful with where I'm sourcing a lot of the livestock and things like that that's going to go into that tank. But I'm taking my time with it. But of course, like I said, I will be recording videos to throughout the whole process for you guys. Mm, so Silver Creek says yes to look more like debris caught in the flow of a creek or river. Yep. Liquid Zeus, Matt says yes. Okay, cool. Hey there, CAR. Welcome, very welcome. We've got Silent Aquatics. Thank you very much for stopping by. Okay, Coro says to like super gluing it to the rock and stuff to look like spider would grew onto it. Interesting. Thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Fish Family, for that. Appreciate it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up in chat, guys. So Silver says for a 10-gallon, the grip stuff that is used for cabinet should suffice. I'm not familiar with that. Is it like a mat that you put in cabinets? I'm not familiar with that. Definitely something I can look into. Sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze, but that's not the case. But yeah, so um, but yeah, so like the premise of this live stream, buying hardscape online versus at your local aquarium store. I would always go to my local aquarium store first to see what they have, and like my local store has quite a bit of selection. Not, but the problem is like they don't have a lot of like nano, like small selections. A lot of the woods and rocks and whatnot they have is like pretty big. Um, and it's like if I don't find anything there, then I will look online. But the thing is with buying online, it's a gamble because you don't know what you're gonna get, um, which could be annoying. So yeah, but yeah. So what else was I gonna talk about? I'm gonna be ordering plants soon at some point. From Tropica. I have at least one person that requested a list from me, so waiting on that person to get back to me. But also, a lot of people have been clicking that request back in stock thingy on the website, so I'm getting an idea of what I need to order in, and so I'm hoping to order stuff in at some point. And then hopefully I will do an unboxing of it like I did before. A lot of you guys enjoyed that, so I enjoyed it myself too. So I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna do that. Um, let's test the water on this thing. Why not? So let's test. Silver Creek says shale, not shake. Don't put shake it. Your ting. Oh. Hello there, Mr. Singh. Thank you very much for stopping by. Scotty says, I have an idea. What's the idea? What are you thinking, Scotty? Myrtle, you actually came at the right time because I'm going to be testing the GH and KH of this holding tank here because my Alternanthera renickii pink is not doing too hot. I am going to be testing other parameters as well, but I thought might as well do this. So I might need your input at some point. The empty tank, could you put water in it and put low-tech plants in it of your own and or Tropica low-tech as well, since you have the space increase inventory? Hang on, I need to read that again. The empty tank. So I'm assuming you're talking about this tank right here. Could you put water in it and put low-tech plants in it of your own and or Tropica low-tech as well, since you have the space increase inventory? Um, so this tank right here, I have the tissue cultures in, because it has a light on it. So it for now it's going to be housing tissue cultures. So I'm going to be ordering more tissue culture actually. Um, I'm not really going to be aquaculturing my own plants as of right now. I do want to, if I'm going to be honest, and a lot of you are probably going to like do a face palm and be like, "You idiot," but I want to be a reliable source for Tropica stuff here in the U.S. So especially for those of you who are fans of Tropica, I want to be a source you can rely on to get good quality Tropica plants. Um, but mainly, I can't get everything from Tropica, so I have to source from other places as well. Um, but as of right now, I'm not really going to be like pruning my own plants and offering that for sale. Like I will most likely bring stuff like to auctions, like the Keystone Clash auction, things like that. Like I know there's a lot of crypts in here that I'm probably gonna pull out and bring. So definitely gonna take it. I'm definitely gonna take advantage of that. But in terms of, I need to stop banging on stuff. In terms of like propagating for sale on the website, I'm not really going to do much of that as of right now. Maybe in the future, but not as of right now. Is this a decision that might kill me? Most likely. I mean, I've made decisions in the past that I'm like I probably shouldn't do. That's actually an interesting thing. Like, um, when I was trying to figure out what to talk about in today's live stream, I actually posted the live stream, like the thumbnail and everything. And what I was actually going to do was I was actually going to make some announcements that of decisions that I've made for the business, as well as kind of just talk about my experience with starting an online aquarium store and things like that. Um, but then I actually deleted it because I've already talked a lot about stuff relating to that, and I kind of wanted to move away from a lot of the negatives and focus on the positives and things like that. So, but yeah, um, at some point in the future, definitely, will propagate from my own. The thing is I don't have a lot of plant variety to either, so there's really not much that I can get from my own plants that I'm growing to be available, which is why it's just better for me to just order what people want, put what people the demand and all that stuff and things like that. But yeah, as of right now, this empty tank isn't really empty. There are tissue culture plant. It's gonna hold tissue culture plants because where the tissue cultures were before, they weren't getting a lot of light. So I moved them here, and they're actually doing very well. I don't know why I didn't put them here before, but the plants are doing better than they were when they were there. The Alternanthera renickii mini um, is looking a little weird right now. Like the redness in the leaves have kind of bled into the to the um to the liquid medium. Um, but it's still alive. It's still growing. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Myrtle, if you know what's going on with that. But um, but yeah, the monocilium tenerum is doing very well. It's growing. Um, The Taxophyllum flame is doing well. Rotala macrandra is okay, and then the Ranunculus and Undatus is doing well as well. So yeah, other than the Ranunci pink, everything is doing perfectly fine. I just don't know what's going on with the pink. Anyway, um, so Myrtle says, yeah, if it's too high, that could be a problem. So we'll know soon what's going on. Um, let's see here. So I've got carbonate hardness, which is your KH, and I have general hardness, which is your GH. Let's do general hardness first. Um, this guy says don't overstock or anything, but easy, simple to propagate plants, stuff that won't take much of your time. Yeah, like I said, Scotty, at some point in the future I will, but as of right now, it's just me. I'm just gonna be ordering plants in, and just to be I want to be a good source of Tropica for you guys. Uh no, Myrtle, about to do it now. Yeah, what's interesting, Myrtle, is like I have Alternantha Renickii Rosinervig, right? It's doing perfectly fine. It's the pink. I mean, also this is the first time I've gotten pink in. Last time I got Alternate Ronikia, it was just the Rosenervig, and it did pretty well for me. The pink was doing perfectly fine, but then I did a water change, and it just started melting on me. So I don't know what's going on, which is why I was like, okay, I need to like get off my lazy butt and actually test the water. So it's been a while since I've done a KH and GH test, so I need the directions here so I know what I'm doing. And then so Myrtle says pink is a finickier variety than Rosenberg. Gotcha. So Myrtle, you think that it's the hardness, like if the water is hard, that could be an issue? Because I definitely know hardness plays a big role on plants. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like it was doing perfectly fine, and then I do a water change, and it had other. It was like, nope, I'm no longer happy. Yeah. Well, let's just look at the. What am I looking at? There's the English. Okay, so I decided to do GH first. So where's directions for testing GH? Okay, let's see here. Fill the clean. Oh, another thing I wanted to point out. So I am so happy with API for changing their test tubes from, well, I mean, glass was okay because, it's not plastic, but the problem with their glass test tubes was like the caps were such a pain to take off that as you're putting pressure on it, they would break, right? And I've had my fair share of breaking the test tubes and actually getting cut from it. But like I noticed when I bought these guys that they finally decided to change it to like a plastic test tube with like a cap thingy right here. So that's a game changer right there, in my opinion. Yeah, look, Myrtle. So this isn't from the master test kit. This is from like their GH and KH specifically. But I opened it. I even opened it there just to see what was in there, and it had this in it. And so I'm like, that's interesting. But yeah, they changed from glass to plastic. Did not know that. Uh, sorry, chat's hopping. Need to see what's going on here. Apparently, Silver Creek is out collecting. Ooh, I would love to join you. I love going out into the field and collecting specimens. That's something I enjoyed a lot when I did field work in college. So Zen says, isn't it just fill it up, shake the bottles, and do one drop at a time, shaking between until they change colors? Pretty sure. Been a minute since I used API, mostly Sarah now. Matt says, I vote that Myrtle gets a ranch. Maybe. Um, Sam says, oh, the turns have tightened. So Myrtle says you don't have to shake GH or KH ones. I thought you did. Like it's like titration, I believe, for GH and KH, right? So with titration, you want the water to you want to swirl it as you're dropping it, and then once it changes color, you have to count how many drops you put in, and that determines what it is, right? I think. Um. So hey there, Scary Nana. Sorry if I missed you when you came in. What do you use for a test tube stand? Nothing. I just plop it on the table. I have seen people like make stuff for test tubes. Actually, when I was working when I was working in the lab for our coral aquaculturing system, we used the API saltwater test kits. And my lab supervisor, what she did was she took a box. I can't remember what kind of box it was, and then she took measurements of the test tubes, and then oh no, it was somebody else. Sorry, no, it wasn't my lab supervisor. It was somebody else. Actually took measurements of the test tube and then cut holes into it, and then it worked as a thing to hold the test tubes in. Which I thought was smart. But yeah, I've seen a lot of people just do DIY stuff. I'm pretty sure you can probably get stuff online for it, but I just plop them on the table and try not to bump into them. Myrtle says, I just use my finger to cap instead of the one they provided. I would not do that. It is a chemical. I don't want it on my hands for like, being working in labs and all that stuff. Cross contamination is a big thing of mine. So I wouldn't really use my finger to do it. I would prefer capping it. But that was one of the big things with the glass ones that a lot of people had was like there was a lot of suction, so it was really hard to get the cap off. And then sometimes if you put a lot of pressure, you would break the glass. So, but yeah. So Koro says I use a magnetic stirrer. Yep, a lot of people do use that as well. Mainly for like if you're doing like titration test kits, using titration test kits, it comes in handy. Um, I know Hannah has it. I know Milwaukee has it, and SR Aquaristic has it. Um, it's like a little thing you put the bottom the little tube onto, and it has like a little magnetic stirrer, and then you just crank it up to how fast you want it, and you just put the drops in. So instead of you trying to constantly swirl it, it does the work for you. It's used in labs a lot as well. Yeah, you don't have to shake it. It's just like that's what I usually do is just invert it a little bit. Or if I remember correctly, I would just swirl it after every drop. Cora says, I shake the hell out of every solution bottle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Out of force of habit, you don't really have to. I know for like the regular, like the master test kit stuff, for some of them, it does tell you to kind of shake the bottle a little bit. I just do it in case if it like settles, if I haven't been using it in a while. Does it affect it? I don't really know. Okay, let's see here. So GH, fill a clean test tube with 5 milliliters of water to be tested to the line of the tube. Okay, let me grab a disposable pipette. I know I have them in here somewhere. Oh, here we go. Found it. Oh, I don't have a lot, but there is one in here, but I don't know if it's already been used or not. So actually, I'll probably just toss that out. Okay. Let me grab one here. Okay. Let's take the lid off because that's going to be annoying. Okay. In the lab, we had the courtesy of distilled water, so we would use distilled water to like rinse out a lot of our test tubes and whatnot. But so a little bit of a science tidbit for you guys when trying to figure out if you're at the right line or not. Don't really see it here, but I know for the glass test tubes you would kind of see it. So when you have a water line, if you look closely at it, you might see it kind of like concave, or you see it kind of like dip like that. That's what we call the meniscus, and you want the bottom of that curve, to meet the line that's on here, and then that tells you that it's at the line. This one doesn't really have a meniscus, so I can kind of tell when it's at the line. And it was a little over the line, so I'm going to take a little bit of it out. Okay, so now I'm going to plop that there for a second. And then GH, now let's see what they say afterwards. Holding the bottle vertically, add GH test solution, 1 drop at a time. Be sure to count the number of drops being added. Cap test tube and invert several times after each drop. The test is completed when the water in the test tube, after having been shaken, turns from orange to green. If you have difficulty discerning the color after the first drop of test solution is added, remove the cap from the test tube and while holding it over a white background, look down through the tube. The GH value is determined by the number of drops of reagent that must be added to turn the water in the test tube green. See GH and KH conversion chart at end of instructions. Okay. So it says here for most tropical fish, including angelfish, cichlids, tetras, bodia, and live plants, 3 to 6 drops, I believe. So there's a degree on the numbers. I don't know what that degree is for, but 3 to 6 or 0 to 3, they say, is for discus, arowana, elephant nose, neons, cardinals, live plants. And then 6 to 11 is most tropical fish, including swordtails, guppies, mollies, goldfish. 8 to 12 is marine fish and invertebrates. 11 to 22 is rift lake cichlids, goldfish, brackish waterfish. That kind of makes sense. A lot of um, like a lot of your South American are mostly going to be in softer water, whereas a lot of your like guppy like live bears are usually found in like hard water. Okay, let's see here. So shake it after every drop. Um, and then so I have to keep in mind 0 to 3 or 3 to 6 drops is ideal for live plants. So and then it tells you so like from 3 to 6 drops, it's usually 50 to 100 ppm. So this is the measuring in parts per million. Okay. Whoops, sorry. Thank God it was the one that was empty that fell. Otherwise, we'd have an accident here. Let me see what chat's talking about. Yeah, Zen, that's yeah. I mean, keep in mind these tests are not lab grade quality; they're hobbyist grade, so you're not going to get an accurate reading. But it kind of the way that I look at it is it kind of gives you a ballpark to work with. Um, but yeah, by no means are these things like lab grade quality. Um, but yeah. Um, sorry guys, I'm trying to. So Zen says pipette. Ooh, he fancy. I always just played the refill and pour out 74 times until I nailed the mark. Nah, man, I'm a scientist. All right, we use the fancy stuff. You're not. It's not fancy. You can get a lot of this stuff. Like you can get a pack of like 100 of these disposable pipettes. Um, from like a science like a lab supply store, things like that. I know for people use pipettes for like foods and stuff, so I guess in certain food places, grocery stores, you might be able to get them in. They're not that expensive, and it helps with precision. Um, um, Myrtle keeps a syringe handy for water tests. That way, I don't waste the pipettes or Popeyes. I only use them for meds and stuff, and then throw them away. And that's if not that lazy. If I'm lazy, I just dunk the thing. Uh, yeah, I just like to. It's just a tidbit for people if you really want to make sure you're as accurate as possible. I know all of us want to be as accurate as possible. So that's just a tidbit in case you guys weren't familiar is to look at the meniscus. But like I said with the plastic ones there really doesn't seem to be one. So you can easily tell where you are. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, I think um I'm caught up. So Myrtle says Amazon has packs of 100 for like $3. That is true. However, I don't like Amazon and I will never promote buying from Amazon. So, but yes, I did get these from Amazon a while ago and they've lasted me a while. But nowadays, I don't buy from Amazon. I would rather just go to a online science lab supply thingy and you can get stuff from there as well. Um, Koro says that should be something you stock, Usama. Pipettes? Uh, if you're referring to pipettes, yes, but I need to figure out where I can get them wholesale. I don't know where I would be able to get them wholesale. Um, and then Koros asks, also, do you use the lid of your dechlorinator bottle or do you use a proper measuring utensil? I use the lid. Yeah, I use the cap of the dechlorinator to do it. I use Prime, and Prime is like concentrate, so I don't have to use a lot of it. Um, they kind of tell you like if you're using the cap, like what ridge measures how much, but like I guesstimate. Um, I guesstimate it. Um, what I will be using measuring like like a graduated cylinder or something like that, I'm going to be getting some of those in because I want to use those to measure out fertilizers and things like that, especially when I have the macroalgae tank. I want to make sure that I'm not screwing up fertilization and then measuring it accordingly. So I will be using it for like fertilizers and things like that. But like for dechlorinator, you can't really well, actually no, you can over dechlorinate a little bit, but I just guesstimate it, and so far and from doing it a lot, I've kind of had an idea of how much I need for the gallon that I'm dechlorinating. So it's worked fine for me. And sometimes if I do get paranoid, I'll just put a little bit more into the tank just for safe measure, but it's usually done well for me. Okay, I've caught up. So, all right, so let's do this here. Okay, so it's supposed to turn from. What is it supposed to turn from? Because this liquid's green. So it's supposed to be from orange to green. That's interesting because the liquid, I don't know if you guys can see it, looks green to me, but we'll see. Okay. All right, here we go. So one of the things you want to do, you don't want the drop to go to the corner. So I invert it completely and just really put enough pressure for there to be a drop. That's one of the things I like about their bottles it's a good drop bottle, if that makes sense. So let's do one. Whoop, one already went in. And that didn't do anything. Hopefully you guys are counting with me. 3, 4. It's turning orange, that's for sure. I'm already at 4. 5. 6. Oh, 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 oh. That looks green. I would call that green. Yep, I'll call that green. So it's like a bluish green though. Should I do one more drop or? All right, I'm gonna call it. So this is green. It was 6 drops, which I think according to them should be okay. Yeah, 3 to 6 for most tropical fish, including angelfish, cichlids, tetras, betas, live plants. So that's about a range from 3 to 6 drops. That's about a range of 50 to 100 parts per million. So I guess GH is okay, which is good. Myrtle's like, no, as soon as it goes from orange to green, you don't have to get extra green. Okay. All right. So that's GH. So I'm going to cap it. Woohoo. Pop that there. Hope you guys are enjoying this little chemistry live stream. We went from hardscape to chemistry. Okay, let me cap this back up. I actually want to see when this expires. So expires 8/20/26. Cool. So I can get a lot of use out of this, hopefully. All right, next up is KH. Why not? Okay, let's see here. Merle says you want to focus on KH for plants. GH doesn't really matter unless it goes crazy. It doesn't hurt to cover your tracks for GH. All right, KH. Fill a clean test tube with 5 milliliters of water to be tested to the line of on the tube. Holding the bottle vertically, add KH test tube 1 drop at a time. Be sure to count the number of drops being added. Cap test tube and invert several times after each drop. The test is completed when the water in the test tube, after having been shaken, turns from blue to yellow. If you have difficulty discerning the color, you do the same thing you did with GH. The KH value is determined by the number of drops of the test tube that must be added to turn the water in the test tube bright yellow. See the chart below to determine range. Okay, and it's pretty much the same thing. Okay, so in this case, it's going from blue to bright yellow. Yes. Okay. All right. Le pipette. Jette la pipette. I lost one of the rice fish in this tank, which was a downer for me. I don't like when I lose fish. I get upset. So I believe I have 5 in here now, but at some point I am going to get more, and I actually am thinking of actually taking the rice fish out of that tank and making like an indoor tub and then putting them in there, seeing how they do, but I don't know. We'll see. I was also looking into the aquascape patio pond because you can put it outside or inside, and I have my eyes on that that thingy, which by the way is on the website if you guys are interested in that. No, it's not on in stock right now because it's not really pond season. That should be good. One thing you do want to do is you want to put the test tube on like a flat surface. So close enough. Okay. All right. KH time. Try not to squeeze the bottle, otherwise the stuff starts flying out. Woohoo! All right. So going from blue to bright yellow. 1. Did it already go blue? Oh wait, it's supposed to go blue. Sorry. Hang on. Ignore me. 2. Oh. Oh. Bright yellow. That does not look bright yellow to me. So I'm gonna go forward. So I did 2. This is gonna be 3. Okay, that looks bright yellow to me. So that was 3, which is good according to API. So Zen says, I love KH. I have KH of 4 and GH of 7 to 9, depending on the tank and time of year, which I don't fully understand why. Zen, didn't you say that like your water is very hard anyway? Right? Because I remember when we were talking about RODI units, right? You talked about how you definitely would need an RODI unit instead of an RO unit because you have basically liquid rock. So that's probably why your thing is high. So Koro says, Usama, would you be able to get the CCAM iodine iodine multi-test? It's another good titration test, and I can't get it from any of the local fish stores. CCAM. Give me a second here. Let me cap that down because I think we're at bright yellow and well, it almost looks like orange to me, to be honest, but I did 3 drops, so I'm assuming that's okay. I didn't know CCAM had test kits. Or they did, and I just never bothered because I use API mostly. Come on, load up. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go to test kits. Then is there a CCAM? Yep, there is a CCAM. Okay, let's see what they've got for CCAM. And let me also log in to see if it is in stock. Koro, if I am able to get it in, if I haven't I haven't checked to see if it actually is available, but if it is available and it is in stock, if you want it, I can get it in and I'll get a few of them. That way, if you run out and you need to get more, at least you have a, at least one place where you know you can get it. If you want to get it in, I'll be happy to do that for you. But I've never used CChem test kits, to be honest with you. So that'd be interesting to look into. Did I not? What did I do? There we go. Okay, you are looking for iodine, iodine. Nope, they don't have it. Um, Coro, give me some time to reach out to this wholesaler and let me see if they are able to get it in. It could also be because of the fact that it's not even on here. Maybe CChem isn't really coming out with them. Because what I have here is I have calcium, I have magnesium, CChem multi-test reef special test kit, um, phosphate alkalinity, pH and alkalinity, multi-test marine basic test kit, copper test kit, ammonia free and total test kit. That's what's available from CChem right now from my supplier. So give me some time. I'm gonna send them an email after this live stream. And see, hopefully they'll get back to me and I can see if they're able to get it in, and then I'll let you know. Um, but yeah, I don't see it right now. Uh, whoop, chat just went kaput. So Coro says Salifert and API don't have iodine, only iodide. Testing. The CChem one includes an H2O2 component or something like that. It's advanced chemistry compared to the most tests. Yeah. Let me. So you're saying they have iodine or they don't have iodine. Let me see. So apparently Milwaukee has a tester for iodine. It's a photometer. It's a photometer, so it actually uses light to determine, um, similar to Hanna Instruments, but that's out of stock. It's pretty pricey. But that's the only iodine test kit that they have. Yeah, Coro, give me some time to look into it, and um, and I believe you're on the Fish Fam Discord, so I'll text you there if I'm able to find it. Um, Hi there, Jeff. Sorry if I didn't say hi to you before. Welcome. I have a pH 7.5 or more typically. It's not as bad as some people here because I'm on a municipal utility district line, but lots of limestone and rock water around here. Yes. Okay. Of course. Yeah, I'll look into it. Did I catch up? I did catch up. Okay, cool. Okay, so I have six drops for GH, which is within the range, and then I have 3 drops for KH, which apparently is in range. So that means my GH and KH in the tank is perfectly fine. And then I believe Myrtle says that if those two are okay, then it is light. Now, I do agree on you with light, especially with red plants. It could definitely be a light thing because I remember, Myrtle, correct me if I'm wrong, but the most recent, um what your plants, you guys made a good point that it made me be like, oh, that's actually interesting because you mentioned that how if there's not enough light going all the way down to the base of the plant, you'll have a lot of these plants melting. Um, like that portion melting to kind of, induce the plant to find a place. I think it's something along the lines of that you were mentioning, and that kind of made that kind of a light bulb went over in my head. I was like, maybe that's the case. And I know the light here is not on its highest setting. So let me stand by. I'm gonna do some finicky things to this thing. But I mean, even with that, like considering the depth of the tank and how close the light is to the surface of the water, light shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, this is on its highest setting. So also the lymphoides, I've got some leaves that aren't doing too good, so let me just prune those out real quick. Oh, don't fall on the floor. I'm also planning on changing the diffuser I have on here, the CO2 diffuser, because it's a nano diffuser, and I don't know what it is, but something tells me like it's I need to upgrade it to like a regular diffuser. So I'm gonna do that. I'm probably gonna get the Neo, the regular Neo diffuser, or I'm gonna use the Tropica one. But I don't want to open the one of the plants that the one of the diffusers I have in stock right now. Might as well have somebody just have it sold instead of me using it for personal things. But that's another thing I'm looking into. Oh, yeah, so Myrtle, that's definitely another thing. That's a good point. Fertilization. I have been fertilizing. You mentioned white white roots coming through the stems. There are a lot of white roots in the stem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like the general test of like nitrates, phosphates, all that stuff. I'm gonna see what the levels are for there, and if it does end up being low, then I'll probably start dosing more of the Tropica nutrition, which has nitrate phosphates and things like that in it. And this is for particularly heavy planted tanks. So, like if you have low stock but heavy plants, you would use specialized nutrition. If you have um, for just regular plants, like you have a good like if you don't need nitrate source, but you need more of like your iron and things like that, your macronutrients, then the premium is the one you want to use. But yeah, I'll do a test on that because I think my master test kit is also outdated now, so I have to get a new one, unfortunately. Um, but I'm gonna wait until I get paid. I'm gonna wait until my next paycheck to do that. Um, but yeah, my suspicions were either water chemistry in terms of like hardness, um, or lack of fertilization. For specifically the alternate or pink, probably they're just not getting enough. But like all the other plants are doing perfectly fine. Um, the epiphytes are doing perfectly fine. I mean, they don't need a lot of fertilization anyway. Let's see here. Yeah, that's another thing is like they're not in substrate. That's one of the things is like when I got them in, I was hoping that they would get sold and be able to be planted into a good substrate, but they're just not. And so I've been hoping that just by doing water column fertilization that it would be enough, but it could be that it is not enough. Um, but yeah, I do see there are healthy white roots sprouted. So I don't know. We'll see. It's a work in progress. So Myrtle says go for the tropical one so you have replacement discs. Yeah, we'll see. So Myrtle says, how long have these been in the pots? So they've been in the pot since I've got them in. Which was basically the Tropica unboxing. So they've been here in here for a while. Um, but again, it's like the AR Rosinnervig is doing perfectly fine. Like I've had AR I have AR Rosinnervig in pots for close to a year, and they've been growing tall. Um, so I don't really know. I mean, obviously the AR pink hasn't sold that well, so maybe it's a plant that I'll just have to not get in for a while until I can figure out, a better system for them to thrive. Maybe the system is just not enough for them to thrive in. But that's okay. Um, like I said, that, I was hoping that they would sell out so that they can get into their because I think Scotty bought a pot, and then Steven also bought one. So yeah, it's really upsetting when I see stuff like that. Um, but what can you do? Oh, hey there, Shady Grady. Welcome. Yes, I do. I have three in stock. I believe I showed it one. I showed it this past live stream too. So yeah, I have three of the Tropica CO2 diffusers in stock. I don't have any replacement discs in stock. Steven bought the last ones I had. And it's going to be a while before I can get more in, but I do have the diffusers in stock. So Zen, AR pink is a background plant, so it tends to grow tall. So I think you might be talking about something else. Yeah, like if you get AR mini, that stays in your foreground. AR Rosinnervig is more foreground, midground. AR pink is more your background. Yeah. So only Oscar says, I didn't know you also sell plants. That's good for me. Yeah, that's the only live thing I sell right now. Yeah, I do dry goods and freshwater plants. At some point, I'm also looking into bringing in snails, so like your mystery snails, things like that. Um, but that's the only live goods that I'm really able to get in. That and also fiddler crabs. I can get in fiddler crabs. But the common sand fiddler crabs. But that's the only live goods I can get in. No fish right now, unless it's fish I currently have that I'm bringing to the auction. But yeah. Yeah, it's just a matter of, and they're good identicators to not good that something is wrong. So like in my case with the AR pink is something is wrong with the conditions that it's not liking it. So I have to do some experimenting, use the old noggin to figure out what's going on. So I mean, it's a good thing that I can at least cross out hardness. So now I'm just gonna do a I'll just do the test to see what the nitrate levels are, phosphates, things like that. Basically, the nutrients that the plants need to thrive. And then if it comes up low enough, then I'll supplement a little more with fertilization and see how it does that. I mean, to be honest, most of the AR pink is like pretty not looking good, but I'm giving it a little. I've trimmed it back, so I'm hoping that at least I might get some new growth out of it. But it's like not looking so good. That's why I took it off of the website. But the AR Rosinnervig is beautiful. It's doing wonderfully. So that's still available. It's just the AR Pink that's not. Um, so only Oscar says I can always use more plants. Do you have a list or do I email you? So only Oscars, I have a website and all on store. Zen or if Scotty's here, if one of you can post the website, or it's even on that banner that's scrolling through the bank. It's atlanticaquariums.com. Anything that I have in stock, you can see on there and then buy it from there. If there's something that is out of stock, just hit the notify when back in stock request, and then that gives me a idea of the demand. And so when I place my next order, I'll know what to get in. There's also a filter that's for Tropica specifically. So if you're looking for Tropica specifically, you just hit that filter button, and it filters out the non-Tropica plants from the Tropica plants, because not all the plants that are available from Tropica I can get in. So there are some other stuff mixed in with that. But yeah, so just hit that so there are different ways to figure out. If you have a question about a particular plant or any item, you can always shoot me an email as well. Um, info at atlanticaquariums.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. But yeah. Uh, but yeah, so that's it on my end. If any of you guys have any questions, husbandry questions, anything like that, I know Myrtle has been doing a lot of answering questions, but if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to let me know. There is something that is catching my eye. I want to take note of. This Anubias gracilis is like doing so good. I might use it for my beta tank, but it does tend to grow a little big, so I don't know if I will use it. I know for a fact I want to use the Anubias mini coin. That's a Tropica tissue culture, and then Anubias petite. I want to use Bucephalandras. I might actually at some point go to Buse plants, and the reason I might do that is because I want to try out some plants that I don't have access to. So like I can only get like 2 species of Buse from Tropica. And then the other distributor that I have does not have Bucephalandra potted at all. They have the stem variety, or they have the unpotted variety, and I don't like that stuff. Um, so I might go shopping on Buse plants and see what they've got, or I might just utilize what I have. Right now, I have the Bukit Kalem, which was formerly called Wavy Green. I'm waiting for Tropica to get in Ket again because they have not been getting it in a lot recently, and I want to get it in. But oh, that one. One thing I do want to. Oh, by the way, so if you guys were here on the last live stream, we were kind of talking about the digital inline TDS meter. So Steven, I didn't see Steven. I don't think he's in here today, but the one that he ordered came in. So that's, I think somebody asked to see the TDS meter. Unfortunately, it is taped, so I'm not going to open it. But that's what it looks like, and that's the instructions on the back. So this is the dual TDS meter. So it has two probes. There is a single probe one, and then there's a 3 probe one. You would basically hook it up to your RODI unit. But yeah, so so Steven bought this with the with the Alternanthera, so that's going to be going out tomorrow, hopefully. Sorry. Another thing that you guys will probably notice if you've been going onto the website a lot, is a lot of the foods have started to go away. Like, I've started taking them down from the website. That's because I've done a recent inventory of foods, and a lot of foods have come out. I'm sorry, I keep hitting this table thing. I do apologize, guys. Um, uh, Sorry, I saw something and I lost my train of thought. A lot of the foods unfortunately have started to go past is expiration date, and I've tried reaching out to some of the companies like Rapashi, to try and figure out what can be done. They just told me what happens when it becomes expired, and nothing more. So I've had to take them down, and I'm not gonna really get more in because I barely sold any of the stuff I already had. So you'll start seeing a decrease in availability in foods, just because it's just not. I haven't sold anything. Um, from time to time, people have bought stuff from me, mostly when I'm at the Keystone Clash or whatever, or things like that. Um, but yeah, so that's why you'll start noticing a lot of stuff as it becomes out of stock. Um, it's not going to be available. What's going on here? I'm seeing some stuff here. Some people are talking about Buse plants. I've gotten stuff from Buse before. I really haven't had any issues with them. I've bought hardscape from them, and I've bought plants from them. But but yeah. I most likely am just gonna end up using stuff I have, but I don't really want to because I would rather the stuff be sold than me using it. Um, but yeah. Shady, what are you looking for? And yes, there is a search function. So only Oscar says that's true about Rapashi. I had one that was out of date, still was good to use. So according to Rapashi, when their products go out of date, um, what happens is the food doesn't become toxic or anything. It just loses its nutritional value. The vitamins and whatnot start to degrade, and it starts losing its nutritional value. So that's what Rapashi told me, was that once it goes past its expiration date, um, the guaranteed nutrient analysis is no longer valid. It starts to degrade. Um, So Shady, the TDS meter is in the aquarium equipment, aquarium supplies and equipment section. The diffuser is in the hardscape and aquascaping section. Yeah, so the TDS meter is in the aquarium equipment section. The diffuser is in the hardscape and aquascaping section. Oh, thank you, Zen, for sharing the link. I only got one in because that's what you call it. Steven was the only one that ordered it in, so I only got one in. But the thing is like I can drop ship as well, so I'll probably do that. I'm being very careful with getting inventory in because I have so much stuff that hasn't sold at all. So I'm being very cautious and only getting enough stuff in to meet demand. So, but if you're interested in that TDS meter and you order it in, I'll get it in. Mm, but yeah. Oh, there's little fishies. Hello, my little babies. Let me put that lid back up. Hang on. So yeah, if anybody else has any questions about anything, feel free to put them in the chat. Anything regarding husbandry. I'm not just somebody who knows about plants. I know about fish and things like that too. So probably not more knowledgeable than others in the community, but I've had my fair share of experiences with stuff. Throw that out. And then I'm gonna put this stuff away. Yes, Shady. It's the hang on, I can tell you. It's the TDS 200S is the 2 probe one. One of the things I hate is trying to pull this thing back to how it was. Like it makes no wait. There we go. Maybe? Yeah, close enough. Got 9 people watching today. That's totally fine. Wonder where Scotty went. There it is. So Shady says, is there any amount of purchase for free shipping? Yes, it's $100. So whether you get if you do USPS or UPS overnight, um if you do a purchase of $100 or more, you get free shipping. Before it used to be $60 for USPS, but I have changed it because shipping is expensive. And I wanted to keep shipping, like the flat rate shipping, affordable. But I've had to increase the minimum for free shipping, unfortunately. Yeah, Shady, that's totally fine. I know you're waiting for like the next plant order. If there's a plant, specifically Tropica plants that you're interested in, hit that notify when back in stock button. So that way I can add that plant into the order. Keep in mind for Tropica, um, for each species of plant, I have to get a minimum of 5 quantity. For the tissue culture, it's a minimum of 3 quantity. So basically what I'm trying to say is like if you're interested in let's say Cryptocoryne crispitula, which comes in the tissue culture plants, right? But you're only interested in 1 cup. That's totally fine. It's just a matter of the fact that well now I have 2 cups still remaining. Are they going to sell or not? Is the question. But it's a gamble for me, so it is what it is. But yeah, so like I said, I'm planning on making a purchase. I'm planning on ordering more plants in soon. So, if any of you are looking for a particular plant, just hit that button, and that just lets me know that oh somebody wants this plant, and then and then hopefully when I do place the order, hopefully that plant will be in stock from Tropica for me to get it in. But I mean, if you find that plant somewhere else, that's totally fine. So, really? Oh boy. What's the best way to support Atlantic aquariums? By buying from Atlantic aquariums. And that's the best way to support this channel too. So, I mean, I doubt I'll get to a point where I can open memberships, like the membership thingy, but even if I do end up getting to there, I'm not going to do a membership or anything like that. If you guys want to support the channel, the best way for you to do that is to just support the business. That's what I ask. So only Oscar says, I don't have substrate in all my tanks. Do plants need substrate? So far, the plants seem to be doing okay without it. They do need substrate. I will always say to have a substrate, mainly a nutrient-rich aquarium soil. Um, if you're just keeping epiphytes, you don't have to really worry about substrate. But if you're gonna be keeping rosettes, like your cryptocorynes, your swords, or if you're gonna be keeping a lot of your stem plants, a lot of these plants are heavy root feeders, so you want to plant them in a good substrate. I use Tropica. I used to use fluval stratum when I first started in the hobby, but I have now moved to Tropica. Um, they don't pay me to boast about Tropica or anything like that. I love Tropica. That's how Atlantic Aquariums started, was so I can sell Tropica because I have used their products and really like it. But yes, I will recommend you having a substrate. If you plant in like an inert substrate like sand or whatnot, you will have to supplement with nutrient capsules. So that way they're getting the nutrients that they need. Um, no worries, Shady. All good. Enjoy your dinner. Yeah, There are some that will do okay. Epiphytes are one of them. But I will always recommend it, and it's not a way of me trying to sell substrate. Um, but in my experience, I want to make sure that the plants have everything they need properly if I'm going to be investing a lot of money into it, and I have no issues using an aquarium substrate. There are a lot of depending on your aquascape, so there are ways where you can incorporate both. Where in the foreground you'll have like a sand, um like a small layer of like cosmetic sand, and then in between in the back with your rock and everything, you'll have the aquarium substrate where you would plant your plants into. There are people who will have aquarium substrate and then cap it with sand. I'm with Kelly on this. I don't like capping sand. Um, don't cap your sand. The um, the only reason you would want to have your entire substrate and aquarium substrate is also if you're gonna have a carpet. One of the things with this tank was my goal was to have a carpet of Marsilia, hirsuta, I believe, either hirsuta or Granada. And the reason it didn't do well was because there wasn't a lot of lighting going on because of the floating plants. It was just blocking a lot of light, so unfortunately it didn't do as well. That's my fault. um if I was to do this all over again, I would get rid of all the floating plants and get a good light. Like when I do a rescape on this, I'm probably going to get rid of the Aqueon and replace it with a Fluval 3.0. And hopefully it'll do better. And I'm going to do the same thing with the Endler tank. I'm gonna use a 3.0 light for that. Do, 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 do. Yeah, of course. But it again depends on your livestock. But you definitely want to you will have to supplement with nutrient capsules for the heavy root feeders. One of the tidbits I learned from George Farmer was that the capsules, like the tropic, and I'm talking about the Tropica capsules. So, excuse me. Um, these capsules you can actually open them. So that's what they come as. So you can actually open them and then scatter them into your substrate when, and mainly if you're starting a new aquascape, you would scatter it into your substrate. That way you don't have to use a lot, and it does the job. People do it with like the API root tabs, things like that. They'll kind of grind it and then sprinkle it on. I know MD FishTanks does it with the API root tabs. Um, and even if you're using an actual aquarium soil, sometimes, especially if you're using tissue culture plants, you want to give them the best boost of nutrients to start with, because they're kind of like baby plants in a way. So you definitely want to add some nutrients in additional nutrients into the soil to give them that boost, and you're good to go. You obviously want to make sure you keep track of your water chemistry, at least in the beginning. um, but yeah, that's my 2 cents. Uh, no, Hamza, you got to buy it. You don't even have a tank. That's my brother. Um, the Oscars do provide a lot of herds. I mean, with Oscars, there's not a lot of plant variety you can really keep with them. Myrtle says hi, mini professor. He is no Professor Myrtle. Um, sprinkling root tabs is for people who are too afraid to do a dirted tank. I don't like a dirted tank. I'm not a fan of dirted tanks. I'm perfectly happy with aquarium soil. Um, yeah, it's not for everybody, but yes, even with dirted tanks, you will at some point lose nutrients. You will have to supplement, just like you do with regular gardens, which you would be using the dirt from, or like dirt that's used for gardens. At some point, it does lose its nutritional value. You have to then supplement to allow your plants to grow from it. So, you know, regardless of whatever substrate you use, it will lose its nutritional value, and then you will have to supplement or start over, basically. But yeah, unless you just have epiphytes, then you don't gotta worry about anything. Which is what I'm going to be doing with the beta tank that I was talking about earlier. Because I'm only using epiphytes, I'm not going to have any aquarium soil. It's just going to be like a small layer of cosmetic sand. Um, and then I'm just gonna have the epiphytes sprinkled around. But but yeah. Gotcha, only Oscars. So I have sprinkled root tabs, and I've had no issues. It's kind of a way to also save a little bit of money on it, but yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it on my end. If anybody else has any other questions, um, any other husbandry questions or anything like that regarding fish or anything, um, I'm happy to stay a little bit longer. But I don't really have anything else to really talk about. Um, oh, hello. So Zen is asking, question, is bulbitis considered an epiphyte? I swear it grows better in the aquarium gravel in my goldfish tank than it did in my scape CO2 tank. Bulbitis is an epiphyte, Zen. Um, yeah, it is an epiphyte. Um, with epiphytes, you can plant them in your substrate. You just don't want to plant the rhizome into your substrate. As long as the roots are in the substrate, you should be fine. And that's probably what is that it's just rooted itself in the gravel. And you say you have goldfish. Goldfish are nutrient suppliers. Like I was trying to figure out a better word to say, but yeah, gold. There's a big reason as to why your bulbitis is probably doing very well is because it's feeding a lot from your goldfish. But uh but yeah, so um but yeah, so to answer your questions, then I'm sorry. Yes, it is an epiphyte. And it should do okay in your CO2 tank. I don't know why it wouldn't, but why it's doing good in your goldfish tank is probably that's probably why it is. Um, only Oscar says, is the benefit from CO2 only faster growth? Um, in a sense, yes. Only Oscars. Um, mainly it is for faster growth. Um, because when the plants are growing faster, they're taking up more nutrients into the water and they're not competing your pest algae, things like that. There are also certain plants that just do way better in CO2 than without CO2. Um, but it's usually just a combination of getting the nutrients right, the CO2 right, and lighting. Um, as long as you can zone in on all those categories, um, you'll have a really cool tank. But yes, Myrtle also says also healthier, larger, and thicker leaves. Yeah. Um, yeah, then it's most likely the roots where like you plop an epiphyte onto the substrate, the roots just like I have a Nubius nana um right here. You guys probably won't be able to see it, but it's like it was attached or it was resting. I had it in like the crevices of the rock, like the rocks that I have in here. And it's as it's been growing, the roots have just started finding their way into the substrate, and it's been doing very well. So yeah, Merle taking the glory away from me. No, I'm just joking. Um, okay, so any other questions before class is dismissed? Guppies are hungry. I gotta feed them. Um, oh, I got a message from Koro. I haven't been on Fish Court in a while. Thanks, Coral, for sharing that. I'm gonna check that video as well. Like I said, I'm just not familiar with the CChem tests, but yeah, like I said, I'll look into it and I'll see if I can get it in. But if you're not able to find it at your local fish stores or any fish store for that matter, and the fact that I can't see it on my supplier, my distributors list, could be something going on with on CChem's end. But I'll reach out to them and see if they can get it in, and I'll let you know. Myrtle, I have made it. I have cleared myself of that war. It's your spot. I was just joking. Um, don't worry. You don't need to worry about me getting that spot. Um, if Steven wanted to replace you, he would have. And you've been coming to the live stream, so there's no need for me to there's no need for me to be like to I can't talk today. I think I'm tired or I need food. But yeah. Ba, 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 ba. Myrtle says some Seachem products are brick and mortar only. I mean, the distributor from where I get Seachem stuff, they've got a lot of Seachem, mostly a lot of additives. They have a lot of additives. Um, but I don't know. The company that I get, the distributor that I get a lot of that stuff from, they're very good at like If you ask them, can you get this stuff in because a lot of my customers are requesting it, they'll try their best to get it in. Or if they can't get it in, they will at least let me know why. But it doesn't hurt to reach out to them and ask for that. So I'll figure out what's going on. Don't worry, Coro, I got you. Um, the Coro says the video is cool because it's like a science project version of how the titration test works. Explains the hows and whys really well, and that's good for me to know because then if I do carry that stuff, I can explain it to my customers if they have a question about it. Coro's like, it was a prank, bro. And it's like, Usama, how do we like nervous? No, because he's starting to take over my streams, and no. My streams are off limits. No, I'm just joking. No, it's all good. Myrtle knows quite a lot, probably more than even I know stuff, to be fair. So he has his rightful place on what your plans for a reason. The same thing goes for Kelly. Okay, so we're almost close to the 2-hour mark. Myrtle, I am not your enemy, okay? I'm not the one that has beef with you. Everybody else apparently does. So deal with them, okay? I'm just in for the ride, okay? Myrtle is a robot. He doesn't count. Um, yeah, no problem, Jeff. Thank you very much for stopping by. Koro says Usama the anemone. What about what about the anemone? Did I miss something? No, Myrtle. It's all good. Don't worry about it. Exactly. Myrtle, I just did that. I was like the anemone. Um, Coro, are you referring to me as an anemone? Oh, I'm not your enemy, anemone. I see. Okay. Yeah, that word is a toaster for sure. But yeah. All right. So I think we can call it a day. We've just got 8 people here and not many questions for me, so which is okay, totally fine. But yeah, so with that being said, guys, I appreciate you for stopping by. Um, like I said, at some point in the near future, I'll be placing a Tropica order. So if you guys are interested in a particular plant, you're more than welcome to hit the notify when back in stock request, and that'll let me know what plant to get. I'm not gonna do a big order. I just don't have the funds for it. But I'll try to get as many of the plants that you guys are requesting in. Um, right, and then hopefully you guys will do like a little unboxing of it because I really enjoyed the last one we did. Um, yeah, but yeah, so excuse me. But yeah, hi there, Red Laser. Thanks for the stream. I successfully lurked. Okay, nothing wrong with lurking. Sometimes I do that myself. Um, but yeah, with that, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll see you guys in the next live stream. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the notification bell so that way, because I'm going to be posting videos soon. Especially when I start getting the macroalgae setup going. So stay tuned for that. There was also something. Wait, there was also something else I wanted to talk about. Now that I think about it, yes. So if you guys So on the plant section, the live plant section of my website, most of the plants, especially the stuff from Tropica, I have like footage, like pictures of them in like tanks and whatnot, so that way it gives you kind of an idea of what it would look like in your aquascape. But certain plants that I get from the other distributor, the other farm, um, I don't really have like pictures that I can use, if that makes sense. Um, um, I can Google it, but then again, I don't want to deal with like copyright and all that stuff and things like that. So like there are certain plants that there are certain plants on the website that doesn't have like a picture associated with it. Um, and I wanted to ask is like, and you guys can reach out to me and things like that. But if any of you are interested in providing underwater like pictures of these certain plants in the tanks, um, and you're okay with me posting it, publishing it onto the website, adding it to the website, of course, I'll edit it and actually put the picture credits on the bottom, so you will be credited for it. But if you guys are interested in that stuff, um, please let me know, and I would appreciate it. If not, it's not the end of the world. You can easily Google the plan and see what it would look like, but I like to have it on the website as well. Um, Myrtle says, "I'll send you pics. I'll charge $100 for each plant." Myrtle, you know my financial issues. That's not happening. Okay. um, but you will get credit for it. If not, it's not the end of the world. It's all good. But I just wanted to bring it out there to the community if anybody is interested in that stuff. But yeah, with that being said, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. If you guys missed the live stream and you're watching the replay, thank you very much. Make sure you hit that the like button and also comment down in the comment section as well. I do enjoy reading your guys' comments. And with that being said, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your aquariums, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.